Curly roads, take me home.
Hi, I'm Andrew Gwynn. I'm the Chair of Labour Friends of Kashmir, and I want to send my best wishes to the Kashmiri community here in the United Kingdom and across the world, and especially in Kashmir, on Solidarity Day for the 5th of February. It's a day when we remember the suffering of Kashmiris, the story of Kashmir over the past 70 years or more, and particularly remembering that the problems in Kashmir are not just parts of history, but they're part of the present too, and particularly those in Indian administered Kashmir who have been facing a brutal lockdown since August 2019. We all need to raise awareness of the situation. We need to campaign to stop human rights violations, and we need to ensure that the voice of Kashmiris are heard, so that the Kashmiri people will have ultimately that basic right of self-determination. So I'm sending my best wishes and solidarity to you all for the 5th of February.
On this Kashmir Solidarity Day, I want to applaud the work of the Kashmiri diaspora in Britain in continuing to ensure that this issue is kept at the top of the agenda. But we need to do much more. Every day, at least one person loses their life in the region. It's senseless and unacceptable. This isn't an internal matter, it's been an international tragedy for over 70 years. And now with COVID, the situation worsens every day, and sadly there's been limited reaction around the world. To succeed, the international response to the Kashmiri situation must demand urgent dialogue, and it must be based on 4 things. The principles of the right of a people with a distinct historical and cultural identity to decide their own future. That's the bedrock of democracy. The sanctity of international agreements worked out by the United Nations. A peaceful and stable subcontinent free from the possibility of regional nuclear exchange, and the consistent application of human rights standards. That's the only way we'll reach a peaceful solution to this conflict, which has plagued the lives of generations of people living in Kashmir and their families for far too long. There is a solution. It was determined in 1948, and now it's time for the UN and world powers to ensure that this plebiscite is carried out. So solidarity to everybody who's part of the Kashmiri diaspora on this Kashmiri Solidarity Day.
This is Tony Lloyd, Member of Parliament. On the 5th of February, Kashmiris everywhere remember the division of Kashmir, and this year in particular I think we do remember the suffering of those in Jammu and Kashmir, those who've died, those in prison, those whose basic human rights have been torn away by the authorities in New Delhi. And we say to India, it's time now for India to respect those basic human rights, to restore a proper sense of law and order to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. But we also remember that it's many years now since the United Nations said that the solution to the issue of Kashmir was the right of self-determination for the Kashmiri people. Let's this year say to the United Nations, say to the world community, now is the time to bring the suffering of the Kashmiri people to an end. Now is the time to bring Kashmir together as one.
Take me home, curly road.